All right, we got some good weather coming. It's first week of April here. We just had some decent rain to wash the salt off the streets, and it's time to pull the car out. Fired right up. Sounds pretty good. Let the air compressor charge up or fill up so I can get the airbags inflated. Get her out of the garage here. Awesome. She's been waiting for too long. It's been like 5 months sitting in the garage waiting for it to get nice out. Power tour, here we come. All right, so I believe these seats will look so much nicer in my Camaro. So we're gonna end up pulling them out of here and seeing how we have to cut to try and fit these in. Yeah, these are the Honda seats that I currently have in the Camaro. They were pretty comfortable. I had racing seats that I bought from Summit, and they were absolutely terrible. I drove it on the Power Tour 2017. Came back, the first thing I did was get rid of the seats, and I put these in there. So now I'm gonna figure out how to make these Chevy seats pretty decent. They got a nice little red stitch in them. I think those will look really good in there. They got the black and the gray, which matches the rest of the interior, which I have the rear seat out of a Firebird, which is black and gray. Not the same pattern, obviously, but I just got to figure out how to make that seat sit low enough to mount into my body here. So might have to cut some stuff apart. All right, so I got to here, and yeah, it doesn't really fit. I'm gonna have to remove the seatbelt from here, and yeah, it doesn't really fit. Not sure what I'm gonna do yet. This is getting interesting. All right, so I'm doing my best here to try and make it a little skinnier. I pulled all the plastic off the side. This is the airbag retractor that won't be necessary in this car. I can probably get rid of this metal bracket by drilling out a couple rivets, and then I just got to see how low it sits in there, and as long as I can get my factory seatbelt to work, maybe we'll leave the whole power mechanism in there. If not, we'll cut that all off. I'll take the bottom of that chair, attach it to the bottom of this one, and rewire the plug-in so I still have the lumbar support and the power recliner. We just won't have power forward and back. I might even be able to retain this motor and have the front of the seat tip up and down. But hopefully I can get it in with the actual full track and make it work. So, but at this point, it's not looking good. All right, so I got to throw them back in there without any of the plastic on the side. My seatbelt assembly looks like could possibly be modified to cut the bottom of this off. I'll have to get rid of this retractor completely, but we're kind of starting to fit in there pretty good. I can actually sit in the car and have it be pretty decent, so we'll see what we get. All right, so hopefully this is gonna work here. I got the front bar mounted to the track and bolted here. I cut off the seatbelt airbag retractor mount. These metal clips used to hold the seat in place actually with that hole. So I got rid of this one, and I got rid of this one on this side. This pin shouldn't hurt anything. It is actually the bolt that holds the track in. The other side was actually part of one of this that is broke off somewhere. Oh, it was this piece that was supposed to locate it on this side. But that one came off with that. Shouldn't really matter. This piece was riveted on here, took that off. And so now, well, I re-drilled this hole and this second hole back here, as I have this bracket bolted to the floor, and this hole should line up with that other hole. So I'm going to mount the seat in, bolt the front, move it forward with the power seat switch so that this hole's exposed, so I can run a bolt in there, and then it should be all lined up and mounted solid. So let's see how it fits. All right, so I got the driver's side seat all fitted in, nice and secure. Seatbelt's gonna work really well. I did have to cut the plastic quite a bit to get around it, but with the entire power mechanism, it sits low enough in the car that it's pretty comfortable to drive. All the power mechanisms work the way they're supposed to. Should be a pretty comfortable seat and looks way, way better than that old Honda seat. So I'm glad I finally got a seat in there that actually looks good. However, the passenger side, without having the power mechanism to get it low enough to fit in there, that was a lot of work. We had to cut quite a bit of the metal off the bottom. So I'll show you that now. All right, so here's my passenger seat. Unfortunately, it was not a power mechanism. It was just a manual. It has manual recline on it. However, it sat way too high off the ground. So I started with this chunk and took and cut the track off of it. And now I took this track off of the bottom of the Honda seat, and it was riveted on this side vertically, and on this side it has bolts where it bolts up. I'm pretty sure what I'm going to have to do is weld that seat frame directly to this top piece of metal on this side, and somehow just this rail here, because this bottom part here doesn't move. The rail moves inside of it. And I'll have to bolt this back in place here, because that's what actually locks the track. You can see right here, this is where it was actually riveted between, and so I had to drill all of those and knock them off with the air chisel. So that was fun. And so yeah, to attach this piece to that track, I think I'm gonna end up having to weld it, which obviously the foam makes that a very bad idea. So I'm going to disassemble this entire seat, and then I may end up actually cutting it down a little bit more. I'm going to see what it looks like without the seat cover on it and how I get to mount it to the track on this side, because that's going to be the real trick. That rail that sticks up is somewhere around here, and so I don't know if I'm going to build a chunk of metal from here to come straight down, so it's like supporting directly underneath it, because this piece is actually on, I think, the outside of it, if I'm not mistaken. I can't really see, which is why I'm going to take off the seat cover so I can hopefully get a better view. All right, it's actually going pretty well. All it is a little piece of metal, sticks straight down, and this thing twists underneath and like locks onto it. So it takes a little bit of effort to get it to pop off there and pull out, but I assume that's all I have to do all the way around, and the seat cushion should be off. Awesome, came right out. I got the seat bottom off. These little plastic pieces just clip in to this ridge of metal all the way around, and there's a little lip on the metal that actually locks it into place. So you push it up over, it just catches on there. Seat cushion's installed. So now I can look down in here when I get it back in the car and see exactly where these pieces are sitting and whether or not I want to shorten them up any. So yeah, I'll stick it in the car. All right, so I got the seat sitting in here on top of the track, and right here, get down in here, I have enough of this metal frame to weld it permanently to this part of the track. In the back, I have a nice long piece here where I'll have good contact to make it nice and solid, so that this part of the track becomes bottom of the seat, and it'll still unbolt here and unbolt off the floor plate because I just have it sitting in here loose. This side over here, however, I have to figure out how to get this riveted part mounted to this frame, and I'll probably end up just taking a piece of metal and extending this up to make it contact here. Yeah, this also has to be pushed back to start here. So it does kind of make contact here too, which might be kind of nice for holding it and getting it started. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to support it from here to here. All right, let me get this figured out. All right, so I pulled the whole track out of the car. I had marked right where I wanted it to be at. And so I just put 2 tack welds here. I'm gonna get another one back here and probably one like right here. And then I'm gonna test fit it back in the car and might put the seat cushion back on it. As long as everything seems like it's gonna work correctly. Just the amount of sparks that are shooting off. I'm gonna unbolt this part here and here. And the same on the other side. And I'm pretty sure I can take the entire backrest off of it. So that way I'll have nothing flammable going on. And then I'll probably weld a piece of plate steel vertically up against the side here. In which case I may end up notching this out a little bit more and making a flat piece. So that way I can mount my seatbelt on the inside here, because I still have to figure out how I'm gonna do that. The old seatbelt hole was way down here where it had bolted to it. And I cut that off with the, well, actually you can see it right here. Under this tape is where the seatbelt had bolted to. But yeah, we took that much off of it, so it should fit in there really well. It's about the exact same height. I would say the backrest is about the exact same height as the driver's side is right now. The passenger might be just a slight bit lower, but it should be pretty good. All right, I tack welded it in a couple times in a couple different places to make sure everything would work. It looks like my seatbelt's just gonna clear. This is all the way back, so it probably won't be sitting all the way back. Normally it'll sit right around there, so there might be some rubbing. I'm gonna live with that. Obviously, like I said, I'm gonna have to make it stronger across here, but I sat in it. You can see it's actually a little lower than the driver's side, so I think it fits really well over here. Again, I do have to get a seat belt mounted back in here somewhere, so we'll see what we have to do there. I'm gonna go ahead and get it pulled out of the car and get these bolts and get this backrest off so I don't light it on fire. All right, so the back of the seat is completely removed. I have it sitting upside down here. I'm gonna go ahead and get in here, clean the paint off a little bit. I'm gonna find good places to make welds. We're gonna weld it up and through here. I already had it in there. It goes forward and back just perfect. So as long as I mount this part to this part exactly how it is, should be able to bolt it right back in the car with no issues. So that is the plan. Just like that, seat's back together, all working great. I got the reclining mechanism back in. I'm able to clear my seat belt here pretty good. I had to cut the plastic on this side just as much as I did the other. Actually, I think the other side's a little worse, but it has up and down, forward and backward. This one just goes forward and back. So, but it moves like it's supposed to, reclines like it's supposed to, and it looks way better. So I think it was a much needed improvement, and I'm very happy that I no longer have those tan seats sitting inside my black interior. They look really good when I get it out and the seat tops are off. And these should be really comfortable to go on Power Tour this year, so they feel like they're gonna have a lot more support than the other one, especially going around corners and stuff, because the backrest kind of really holds you in the seat. So awesome, thanks for watching, like and subscribe.